Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Kizzy and today I'm going to be doing a TBR but a different TBR than I normally do. So I've typically done monthly TBRs in the past, but with the new year I've got some ideas of some like reading vlogs that I want to do that are kind of more themed versus just general reading vlogs. So I don't think a TBR per month will be very beneficial because I just don't think I'll get it done if I'm reading these other books that are themed, and then it's just like that's gonna like spoil the reading vlog if I give up all that in. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. So instead I've decided that I'm gonna be doing kind of like quarterly TBRs. So for the first 4 months of the year I'm gonna decide on, like, I have 8 I think books here that I really want to get done in those 4 months, and that are kind of outside of the themed reading vlogs, and then kind of have that as my, is it quarterly? Thirdly TBR? I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking January to April is like, these are the books that I really want to get to in the new year and read before, I don't know, the end date of the time that I'm giving myself. So let's get started. So the first book is one that was released, I think, it must have been released a while ago because the paperback is out and it has been for a while. 2020 it was released, so it has been out for a while, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to get to it, but it is Troy by Stephen Fry. I love Stephen Fry, I love his retellings. I especially love his audiobooks for this series that he's got going on, so Mythos and Heroes, because he narrates them himself and he's just like one of my favourite narrators. I think taking back like nostalgia of him narrating the Harry Potters when I was younger, but he's just so good, and obviously it's narrating how he wanted it to be thought of and spoken and presented. So I maybe will do this alongside the audiobook if I can get it on script. I don't know if it's on there, but I would like to actually physically read it as well because it does kind of go in a little bit better. I know the story of Troy quite well, so I don't think it will necessarily be much more new kind of knowledge information, which when I read Mythos and Heroes it was, because they were kind of my first introductory reads into the Greek mythology. I wasn't very well versed with it at that point, but I now know a lot more about it, so I think this will just be like kind of just enjoying Stephen Fry as a writer and a storyteller rather than kind of gleaming knowledge from it. But there'll probably be a lot more knowledge than I actually, like, I know as much as Stephen Fry does about Troy. I will obviously get a lot more knowledge from this as well, but then I can focus on the things I don't know necessarily. I don't know. I'm just excited to see what he has to say about Troy. The next book is also another Greek retelling that I've been wanting to read for a while, and that is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. It's just a Greek retelling that I think has got a lot of traction recently, especially it's got, I think Waterstones have a new edition out that's like white and it's very beautiful, but it was also on their shortlist for the book of the year, so I think it is obviously meant to be quite a good book. And she has another book, Electra, coming out next year, so I would like to read this before that one obviously and just see if I like it or not. I don't really know what to say. It's about Ariadne. I think it's the Minotaur story. This is actually signed, this edition. How fancy. When Theseus, prince of Athens, arrive in Crete as a sacrifice to the beast, Ariadne falls in love with him. Yeah, so it's Ariadne, Theseus and the Minotaur. I don't think I've read anything retelling that story. There's a little bit of it in Circe, very small amount, but that's the closest I've had, so I'll be interested to see what this one says. The next book is one that is stunning. It's another one that was on the Waterstone shortlist for the book of the year, and that is Storyland by Amy Jeffs, and this is a new mythology of Britain. So I have not read much about British mythology. The most is kind of like Merlin. I did a module on Merlin and Arthurian literature, so that's the closest kind of thing that I have to it, but I've never really read a retelling of it. And this is a really heavy book for like not too large, but it's not even 400 pages, so like it is really heavy for that, but it is also illustrated. But this is, I think, just a collection of short stories or a collection of retelling of stories. I don't know if it's like told in kind of a fictional way. I don't think it is, but I think it's more like Amy Jeffs is telling us the stories about it, a little bit like Mythos, I suppose, that kind of more idea that it's them just letting us know these are the stories that are told rather than actually fictionalizing it and making it into a story, because I think this is non-fiction. It's classified as non-fiction, so, but it's beautiful, it's lovely, and it's just a wonderful book, and I think it'll be very exciting to get to. So the next one is like a book that I started ages ago. It's really small, so I really should have got way further than I did, but that is The Ally of Law by Brandon Sanderson, and I want to get through these books because there's like 3 of the second era of Mistborn, that I need to read before I can then read the last book that's released in the Stormlight archive, and I really, really want to read that one. So that's why this one's on this, because I really want to read that book, but I can't until I've read these. So I need to push through this. I don't know why I didn't really get into this, but I didn't. So I'm going to give it another go and get into this because I love Sanderson. He is my favourite author of all time, and I need to finish what is being released so far of this series. So that is on here. If you don't know, this is the second series within the Mistborn world, which is one of the worlds in Brandon Sanderson's epic universe that he has, where each book or each series or standalone is set on a different world within the one universe. And this is, you've got Mistborn Era 1, which is like the final empire, and they have a magic system that revolves around metals and consuming metals that then gives you powers if you have the ability. If you don't, then it doesn't really do anything. And then I think a few hundred years later, or at least a long time later, way later, there's this Era 2, which is the second kind of installment within the same world. But things have changed a little bit, like there's guns now, they've developed as worlds do develop over time. I need to read this, and it is really short, like it's 300 and something pages. So I should be able to read this quite quickly. Just need to push through it. I think I'll enjoy it. I just wasn't in the mood before. I'm saying that like it's a bad book. It's definitely, I don't think it is. I just need to focus. So the next book is one that I don't know why I've put it in this list. I don't know much about it. It just looks really cool and I would like to read it. I'm not going to read it this month, so I would like to read it in at least like January or February time. And that is Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. This, again, I don't know much about, but I think it's got thieves and like just things I like in fantasy. So I think it's also about two siblings, a brother and sister, that kind of split apart when they're younger and are now on either opposite sides of a conflict or don't quite see eye to eye, or they're very different people. Apparently she is the Twilight Order's brightest prodigy. I don't know what the Twilight Order is. They took her and trained her to be a centaur. I don't know what that is either. He is a thief and a bandit and a revolutionary, and together the siblings will discover that not even the ties of blood will keep them from splitting the world in two. It sounds exciting. It sounds like this kind of fantasy that I would like, and I just want to get to it. So it is in my kind of January, February, hopefully time, TBR. The next one I want to read is one I really want to read because it's my friend's favourite book, but I've kind of been putting off reading it because it is a trilogy, but the third one still hasn't been released, and I think the second one was released like 10 years ago. I don't think we're going to get it anytime soon, so I think it will be like an uncompleted series, and you probably know what I'm talking about. It is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Obviously, we have the first book and the second book. When the third book's going to come out, I don't know. And I did give this a go, like a few months ago, potentially a year ago now. I did give this a go and I kind of wasn't into it, or I didn't really get involved. Didn't give it enough of a chance, I don't think. So I would like to pick it up and give it a better chance and see if we can get into it, because it is her favourite book and I think she probably has good taste in it. So the next book I think is one that is my most anticipated my most anticipated read of the year, like the one I want to get to ASAP, and that is Honeycomb by Joanne M. Harris. So she's the author that wrote Chocolat and many other books. I didn't like Chocolat, not gonna lie. I didn't like that book, but the concept of this book just I just want to love it because it sounds like something that I would love, and it's a beautiful book. It's a cloth bound edition with gold kind of printing on it, with bees and flowers, and it is a collection of short stories that all come together, of like fairy tale inspired short stories that all come together to make one main narrative, I think. And that just sounds like something I would like, because it's a little bit, it reminds me of how The Starless Sea was, and The Starless Sea is one of my favourite books of all time. So I want to get to this, and it is beautifully illustrated throughout, with both little like black and white kind of drawings as well as like larger full colour drawings as well. So it's just a beautiful book. I hope it's good. Like I am so wanting this to be good. We'll see. So the last book I have is one that this maybe won't be done in the first quarter of the year. It'll probably take me a little bit longer than that. And I don't know if I'm going to choose this one, but I want to read a Leo Tolstoy, and it'll either be Anna Karenina or War and Peace, but I've only got War and Peace with me. Look at that, it's the same size as my face. It is a big boy. It is like over 1,000 pages, way over 1,000 pages long, but I want to read a Tolstoy. I feel like I do say this every year, that I will read Anna Karenina. 2022 is going to be the year. It will be the year that I read War and Peace or Anna Karenina. It's just a classic that I want to tick off and I want to read, and I feel like it will be good. My gran was talking to me about it. She's like, you have to really concentrate on the names and the characters and stuff. So I'll maybe leave it to when I'm not working quite so much so that I can really focus and hone in on it. But it's so intimidating. It's one of the most intimidating books I've ever held in my hands. Like, cause like just listen to that sound. Yeah, but it's beautiful. And then there's like the TV show, isn't there? So maybe I could watch it alongside the TV show. If it's quite true to the book, that would maybe help kind of reinforce the names and stuff, like putting names to faces. So those are my books that I want to read in the first quarter of the year. Hopefully I will get to them and I get them all done. I feel like because it's like only 8 books, it's very manageable. That's just what, 2 books a month, and hopefully that kind of leave by not doing quite such a strict. Let's be honest, I do a TBR. I never read the books on the TBR. It's pointless. My TBRs are always pointless, but I do like making them. I do like filming them, and I like having a kind of direction and goal with my reading, even if I don't ever follow it. So this maybe gives me a little bit more flexibility with the reading in the coming months, and spices up the reading vlogs that are hopefully going to be starting very soon, because they'll be a bit more exciting, because they won't, I don't know. I think I've got plans. I've got plans. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know any books that you want to read ASAP or what's up next on your TBR, and I will see you in the next video very soon.